A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 16th July. Let's have a positive start. First, study nature, love nature, stay close to nature. It will never fail you. This is absolutely right. With this, we have very easy articles to go through, right? Easy to understand, and I'm sure we all are aware about some basic things associated with these different items that we have. This first one, this editorial, is about strongest net neutrality regulation. What is net neutrality and other things associated with it? We will talk about it in detail. This one is about NATO, transatlantic rift, not drift, rift. Donald Trump shakes the NATO census further by talking defense budgets. And here this is about CSR, that is corporate social responsibilities, and universities, higher education in our country, politics over constitution. This article here, number 2, and this one, number 5, you can club them together. I have clubbed them together, and these two articles you can drop them because they are not directly important for your examination. With this, we have many important pen drive and tablet courses to offer you guys. As you can see on your screen, we have covered important exams under our pen drive and tablet courses. To find out more about it, check out studyiq.com. If you have any question or queries, feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. I will share the PDF of today's lecture for you guys on my FB page and Twitter handle. Please make sure that you too share it with other students, and don't forget to hit the like button. Now, a welcome move. First of all, let me throw some light on this net neutrality. I'm sure this is very easy to understand from the screen itself. You can see that you have two scenarios here. One is net neutrality and the other one is fast lane and slow lane. So what happens in this case, right? Big companies, large companies, they will pay to this internet service providers. Just for understanding, take this highway or this road as internet service providers. So if you pay extra money, if you pay some sort of money to this road providers or this internet service providers, then they will open fast lanes for you. So say for example your company is XYZ, and if I'm looking for a product called A that is produced by your company, and a substitute product or an identical product is produced by a small company, right? It is, again, the name of the product is A, but the brand could be different. I hope things are not getting complicated here. So this is produced by this small company as well and this big company as well. So of course, when I will search for that product online in this scenario, right, then I will get, the search will provide me name of only this company. If I will try to open, right, even if I'm aware about, say for example, you can argue that I would be knowing the name of this company that is selling that product at reasonable rate, but even if I try to open their website, it will take ages, right? It will take a bit of time, but here it will be very fast. So naturally, you know, all these things, they do add up. Finally, they help you, or they do play an important role in decision making. So if it is going to take some time, then I will search for other items, other substitute product, and I will come to this XYZ. Anyways, this will be presented or displayed, this XYZ, on the first place in this scenario. So it is, as you can see, not, you can say, it's not a platform that is equal for everyone. If you have money, then you can grow. If you don't have money, then you will not be able to grow. This is the biggest, this is just a small example. It's not just about business. There are other things as well. We'll talk about it. But this is just a small example. And here it is free for everyone. It's net neutral, right? There is no this sort of bias or partiality when it comes to providing you speed, right? Small company or big company, same speed, same access speed for user. So this is something that is really democratic, as well as this is something that is going on, right? The internet that we are using at present is this net neutral internet, and it's not this one. So yes, we have the Telecom Commission, that is apex body in our country that takes all important decisions associated with telecom, has approved, in fact, not decided, but approved the recommendations of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India on net neutrality. And TRAI has, of course, talked about net neutrality. It has recommended that we need to protect this net neutrality. The other thing is it will, of course, help us secure the rights of internet users. Any sort of violence done by these internet service providers will be taken as violations of this license conditions. There are a few exemptions, voice over internet protocol and other things are exempted, but that does not mean that it will be at the cost of quality of internet access. As I told you, this is a very easy to understand article, right? And you cannot have this differential rates charging. If you don't know what or how it works, then let me tell you. Say for example, we know a company Jio, right? Jio is providing many different apps as well for mobile. Jio apps, various different Jio apps, and at the same time you have substitute apps as well provided by other companies, isn't it? They are not like Jio is internet service provider as well as it is app producer, right? Both two in one. And using Geo network, other apps are also working, like say for example WhatsApp or XYZ. So Geo cannot do this thing, that it cannot provide speed, or say for example it cannot, not speed, but if it is charging nothing for this app, then it cannot charge anything to WhatsApp or any other app. This is called differential rates. If it is charging something for this app, then it has to, when I say charging, I mean to say that charge for using internet. So this is something that has been added in this recommendation. Net neutrality, it has been there. It is at its core. Internet is all about neutrality. Everyone should have access. This was the main philosophy of this founder of internet and this protocol, internet protocol. So founders, their vision was that it will change the world, and in fact it has changed our world, isn't it? We are using, at present, you and I, we are talking on this digital platform. We have social interaction, knowledge flow, entertainment, e-commerce, so many things. It is said that a country like USA and its Federal Communications Commission, that is a counterpart of TRAI, has repealed net neutrality. It is not it has repealed, right? It is not supporting net neutrality, so it's going to be a bit problematic for USA itself. Moving on to another item, transatlantic rift, issues going on between different members of NATO. Now I don't have to explain NATO, do I? I'm sure you all are aware about NATO. It's a very famous organization, right? North Atlantic Treaty Organization, made up of countries. It was made up during this Cold War era, and one of the main reason, right? One of the main country to protect a particular country called Turkey, and it looks that that country itself is drifting away from NATO. It's a very, you can say, tricky situation that is going on. Earlier on as well, many different presidents of USA, they have been, you can say, not that happy with contribution coming from European members, because see, NATO, as I told you, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, there are so many European countries that are part of this NATO, and they have to contribute. This NATO is a defense organization. So if you attack any NATO country, then it is considered that you have attacked all NATO countries, and all these NATO countries together will attack that particular country. So this is how it works. But for running this big organization, you have this whole structure, you have this chiefs, and all this, there is a proper hierarchy. So to support all this thing, you require money, and this should be distributed or contributed by different members. But this is something that is not happening. Mr. Trump has called for increasing this defense expenditure to 4%. By 2024, these NATO countries are expecting, they are saying that they will reach up to 2%, that they will contribute 2% of their GDP's share to to make sure that NATO is working all right. And Mr. Trump has also earlier on as well, he has been very, you can say, to the point. He has been a bit blunt about NATO. He said that you cannot have a sort of free ride. USA is a country that is providing most of the money. I have figures here for you guys. 22.1% of NATO's funding comes from USA. It is the biggest contributor. And there are a few countries out there in Europe, they haven't provided anything for a very long period of time. So this is making Mr. Trump unhappy, and he's being a bit angry over these European members. Particularly, he's not happy with Germany. There are three reasons. The first reason is that military spending of Germany is not that much as it should be, because Germany is, as I have told you earlier on, as far as Europe is concerned, Germany is the most developed country, most advanced country, strongest in terms of finance, one of the strongest in terms of military as well. But when it comes to NATO funding, it is, or spending on military and contributing in NATO, it is not that, you can say, active player. Then it comes to second point why USA is not happy and why Mr. Trump was particularly ballistic on Germany or Angela Merkel is he said that trade surplus with USA is also there. Bilateral trade is tilted in favor of Germany. Then as well, Germany is being stingy enough and not spending money on or contributing money. And the third one is it has started importing gas from Russia. Now, European countries are not happy with Russia because of this annexation of Crimea by Russia. And it was part of Ukraine earlier on, but now this portion is annexed by Russia. It is part of Russia now. USA and European countries, Ukraine and other countries are not happy about this move of Russia. So again, NATO becomes a very important organization. If you go down a little bit in Black Sea, then you reach a country called Turkey. Now, this is a big problem. This article, sadly, this editorial is not talking about Turkey at all. But I would like to add something about Turkey, that Turkey is a country that is part of NATO. It is a country, you know, that Erdogan is engaging with Russia, is engaging with Vladimir Putin, and he is going to purchase defense material from some S-400 missiles or something. He's going to purchase it from Russia, and this is a big signal for NATO members, right? This is the country. It's not these European countries. Of course, they are not contributing, but they are not going in the group of Russia. As far as NATO is concerned, I'm not saying Russia is bad or USA is good. As if you look from NATO's perspective, then drifting towards Russia is a big red flag, and this is what Turkey is doing. So it's sad that it is not talked about. This thing has not been discussed in detail in this editorial, but I'm sure in future we will find some good articles on this thing, because this is going to be a big issue for the world. And as I told you, 2024 deadline is there. European countries are saying that they will clock 2% by 2024, but this 4% demand by Mr. Trump, I don't think so that will be visible in near future. With this, one more last point that happened, this one is important one, that Europe's expenditure on defense has been on rise since 2014 because of this annexation of Crimea. This was the last point. That's everything. Moving on to another item. This is about helping Indian universities. Now, we have talked about HECI in detail. We have talked about other recommendations of higher education. But this, you would be having this question in your mind, that why every single day we find, or why quite often since last 10-12 days we are finding something associated with education. Again, if you are new to it, then let me tell you that if you check your syllabus, right, then you will find that education is clearly mentioned in your syllabus. If you open your past papers, then you will find that at least one question. I'm talking about particularly UPSC exams. It's not just about UPSC. If you are preparing for other competitive exams, then you could be asked essays. If your exam is demanding you to write essay, then essay on education is a very common, topic. And there won't be direct essays, they won't ask you like explain the role of Heki and how it will change. They will ask you indirect, they will, when we talk about essay, it is more artistic in nature, how artful you are in writing down essays. But when you talk about general studies, your mains examination, you have to be logical, you have to be factual, right? You cannot be emotional, right? You cannot be imaginative. You have to be to the point, precise, and things like that. So if you check your past papers, essay ones, as well as this general studies papers, then you will find that at least one question, particularly in general studies general studies papers, right? Not one, but general studies paper, you will find at least one question asked directly or indirectly on education. So it's a very important topic for you guys, right? So never miss anything that is on education. Now, because we have talked about this thing many a times now, so I don't have to go into all those small details. We cannot, means we have talked about the basics, so there is no point of talking about basics. Now we'll jump on directly to this article here. Now, just think about if you want to open a new university in your area, or if you want to expand, or if you want to expand your library, or if you want to expand your research area. When I say area, I mean to say this whole building that you need, right, where you will have different labs and different other items, your computers and dissertation thing, and reference articles and reference dissertation, all these things. You need to be connected with some of the best universities as well around, inviting professors, when your professors are traveling somewhere else, if they are invited by someone, or sponsoring them. All these things, right, require financial resources. Hiring world-class faculties, you need to pay them handsome amount. Developing research centers, funding research projects, having rewards and incentives for faculty publications, building physical infrastructure, and making available scholarships for students. All these things are very important for survival, growth, and development of any university. Now, as far as our country is concerned, government is providing money to universities. If you go and see other universities around the world, then we find this triangle. I call this triangle a golden triangle. The reason is that you have three important players in this golden triangle. You have government, then you have business, right? Business, when I say, I mean to say this business world or corporate people, or corporate companies, and then you have this university. All three are working for each other for the development of society. This one, say for example, a business will invest in university. It will provide fund, because a business is doing, say a corporate, they are doing R&D, research and development. Now of course they would be having all these facilities, but it's better that to have someone else working for or working on a project for you. That is important for you, but if that is done under your R&D or department, that it won't be, there will be an influence of your company culture and other thing. And universities, they provide this free environment. You can think, you can work on this idea. I hope you are getting here that this is about freedom. Here you have to be concerned with commercial and other things. So this is one of the reason why this is the way contracts work. If you are provided with a scholarship, then you will, of course, after getting your PhD, you will work for or support this industry. It depends what your contract is, but this is one of the reason why this corporates, they do invest in universities. Government, of course, for social reason, and this works for achieving these universities, right? When they get fund and all this support, they will be able to fulfill the demand of this market as well as government by providing education. So this is golden triangle: universities, governments and corporates working for each other, helping each other, and creating this ecosystem of, I would say, development and growth, both. Now the future of our universities is also dependent on how much fund we provide them, how much freedom that we provide to them, and are we looking after them properly or not. We have this CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, that out of your profit 2%, right? A big company is basically they have to spend 2% of their profit for corporate social responsibility. They have to give back to society. There are many companies that are giving more than this 2%, but this 2% is minimum. You can give 5%, 10%, as much as you like, and you'll get tax exemption and other things. And this is introduced to, because government cannot be there everywhere. We have to understand this thing. One of the problems is that we expect government to sort out all our problems. That is not going to happen, and that is not practically possible as well. As a society, we have to contribute. If government is bringing out a law, then it is on us now to make sure that we are following this law. So same thing applies with, or happens with, other areas as well. Now CSR, we have seen CSR in different areas, but even today when it comes to CSR, it is taken as charity. It is taken charity and philanthropy. There is a bit of difference here. The difference is of vision. If you are providing health to someone as a part of your CSR, then it's not, of course it is charity, but your goal here is not to just to see a smile on that face for a couple of days. It's more than that. It is nation building, right? Imagine when small kids are provided with this vaccines and other things that will protect them, and after that, when they grow up, the government has to spend less after them, and they will be healthy, more productive, and all these things. Same thing applies with education. You know it very well that if you are well educated, and educated does not just mean if you have big degrees, with degrees, if you have skills, if you know how it works, then you will be very productive. You will add to the economy. And what we find is, out of this 5,097 contributions of CSR in our country, 3,100 and out of this 5,097 contributions, only 3,000 were CSR, that is corporate social responsibilities. And as far as education is concerned, the vision is, even today, these big companies, they don't understand the importance of providing funds to university. There was a committee which is very important. Keep this name in your mind. Narayan Murthy, associated with Infosys, and a committee was headed by him, and it came out with recommendations that the importance of strong private initiatives are important for development of higher education. This committee talked about free land for 999 years for institutions associated with higher education, 300% deduction in taxable income to companies for contributions towards boosting higher education, 10-year multi-entry visas for foreign research scholars, and 1,000 crore scholarship fund with tax exemption for corporate sector contributions to promote greater accessibility of higher education to the unprivileged. Now, recently government has came out with some major reforms in regulation, accreditation, and rankings, and autonomy and internationalization. But as far as this CSR or funding is concerned, we are still lagging behind. If we don't, get support from all people. You can also add this thing, that if you have, say for example, if you want to contribute, if I want to contribute, say 1,000 rupees, right, then as an individual I should be allowed to do this thing. I can provide this fund to any university I like. This should be created apart from CSR, so that society, there are people out there, they would be happy to contribute, and every penny counts. And it's not just about one particular tree that we are talking about. When I say tree, I'm talking about one university or one individual. We are talking about the whole jungle. Looking after higher education is the final point of education, and once you provide good education, it will be productive for the whole economy and society. Becoming Pakistan. Now recently Mr. Tharoor used this term, Hindu Pakistan. So as per this article, the ugly word in this Hindu Pakistan is not Hindu community, it is Pakistan that is the ugly word. Because what's going on in Pakistan. Nawaz Sharif is behind the bars. He is is not been provided with newspaper, facility of advocate and anything. So this sort of things are going on in Pakistan, and the reason why this Pakistan word is a bit ugly today. I'm not offending the country, but we are talking about what's going on in Pakistan. Terrorist attacks are taking place. Election that is going to take place is not termed as free and fair. Then this constitution, it's not secular, but our constitution is secular. When we got free from British rule, and when we had this partition, we were facing many different problems, but then as well we decided to keep religion away from our politics. As far as constitution is concerned, right, no particular government cannot support one particular religion. So this is our country, and if what Sasi Tharoor is saying, and I'm not saying he is absolutely right, we all have our different views, so he could be wrong, he could be right based on your view. I don't want to add my personal views here, but what he is saying is that Muslims and Dalits, recently we have seen so many cases associated with lynching, and if this sort of things are going on and on, then secularism and democracy and this liberal democracy that we have, right, it will be vanished. That's what he meant by saying that we are becoming more like Pakistan. And here we have politics over constitution. Again, as I told you, that we can club these articles together. So when you have this extreme right wing, this extreme right wing, here this article is talking about RSS. So the first casualty in any country, and a country like our country, India, right, the first casualty will be of extreme right wing, this extreme right wing people getting stronger. Then the first casualty will be secularism, and the second one will be democracy. Now constitution as was made on keeping in mind two important things, or two important events. They have their impact on our constitution. The first one, series of colonial laws, Government of India Act 1935, and the second one is this freedom struggle. The freedom struggle brought different people from different religious, social, economical background, you can also say political background. They all became one union, and we fought for our freedom. So this is one of the main reasons why we have a secular democratic country. In fact, in 1928, Motilal Nehru, who was the father of Jawaharlal Nehru, there was a committee headed by Motilal Nehru, and this committee recommended integrated list of social, economic, political rights, minority rights, and universal adult franchise. And this was followed by Constituent Assembly when they were framing our constitution. With this, dear friends, our pen drive and tablet course, particularly of UPSC, is just 22,500. But when you compare this with traditional classes, they charge you 2 lakh rupees. So check out StudyIQ.com to find out more about it. First of all, I would like to start with important financial news. India raises this trade deficit issue with China at WTO. If you go through this article, you will find this bilateral trade and figures that we have. It's heavily tilted in favor of China, and in this state-owned enterprises of China are supported by the government, and they provide money and all these things, and this is creating a sort of imbalance, not a level playing field. The other thing is China is also barring many of our, because of tariff hurdles, they have been blocking our companies and things like that. And bilateral trade is also lifted or means it's in their favor. So this is a matter of concern for our country. Social security for 100 million workers likely by 2090. Government is working on a new scheme. This will be rolled out before 2019, of course, because of election. Yes, that is an important thing. And here you can see it is going to take figures, or it is going to use this committee, Tendulkar committee. As per this Tendulkar committee, remember 21.9% of people of our country are poor. Then you have different numbers here, help yourself with it. And it is going to be a 4 tier. You will have 4 different categories, right? The first one is you don't have to contribute anything. This is more about laborers, right? Laborers who are working in organized, unorganized sector. And then you have other important news items. Help yourself with it. These items are from Hindu newspaper. This one are from Economic Times. That's everything, dear friends. These are 2 answers and 2 questions. Enjoy your studies. I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Hind.